Mm, Na 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 na. Zero. Wonderful. There are several people here. It's good to know that I have truly slipped and come full circle into the realm of irrelevancy. But that's honestly fine. I don't know what to expect. Hey guys, what's up? It's Trav. So tonight I've decided that I haven't streamed in a while, so just wanted to do a little throwaway stream just for fun. This isn't gonna show up on the main or nothing. Infection right now. Not COVID, thankfully. I got a COVID test. Um, see, there's at least a few people here, and you all look very wonderful. I'm sure you would look wonderful if I could see you. Do I sound fine? Am I breaking up? How is my reception? Let me know how my reception is in the comments or the live chat below, and we can do some, you know, we can do some troubleshooting. Bring back the Joji vlogs. I don't know what Joji vlogs are, Mr. Red Scare. Oh yeah, we got Red Scare in the chat. We've got Red Scare in the chat. Yeah, that's probably because I'm on my smartphone. I'm not doing this on my computer. You were in and out for a second, but it sounds like you're good. Okay, wonderful. Terrific. Okay. It's good to hear that Red Scare's here. Shout out to Red Scare TV. He's another tiny channel who's been continuing the grind for years on end. Uh, Hard-working man. He's an everyman, manly man, everyday man. He's got working hands, and I'm not fucking kidding. He has got gorilla hands. Like this dude's hands are basically like leather. It's like he's basically got hands. If you had like uh you know farmer's gloves for skin. That's basically what his hands would be. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, he's a hardworking man. But anyways, um, the reason why I wanted to do this stream tonight, mainly because I've got a number of things on my mind, things that I really ought to save for an actual like structured stream. But I figure, fuck it, I'm just gonna do a throwaway stream now. But it's good to hear and good to see that there's some people here. So I wanted to talk briefly about this whole Andrew Tate situation. And I'm probably going to talk about it again in another live stream, an actual stream that's structured. But I figure y'all can tune in for a taste of what's to come. But long story short, the thing is, Andrew Tate has recently gotten arrested. I don't know all the details, but based on what I have investigated for myself, it has been with respect to an altercation that he has had with Greta Thunberg on social media like a couple of days ago, in which he ended up basically bragging. He's like, climate change isn't real. And, to trigger and own the libs, just to destroy those libs, just to own those libs. His dumbass decided to brag about how many fucking cars he has in his parking lot and how he's letting out all these emissions, all these fumes, and contributing all this business to climate change. Like he's proud that he's a big carbon contributor. Well, what Greta Thunberg does in response is she either contacts the police or she contacts the pizza joint that sends Andrew Tate pizza that he's ordering out. And as a result, one way or another, the police get involved, thanks to Greta Thunberg, and they bust down his door and they arrest his ass along with his brother on sex trafficking charges. And so now they're in court. Now they're being investigated for rape and sex trafficking charges again. And yeah, that is the current situation. So here's the deal, man. People are going to say whatever silly shit that they want. People are going to try and say that they're innocent, that they haven't been convicted by the court, therefore they're automatically innocent, as though that really means anything. That's like, it's the exact. So y'all are willing to say that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some elaborate pedophile network conspiracy, some giant sex trafficking conspiracy. He's definitely guilty, even though there were no convictions involved. But Andrew Tate is innocent. You're willing to give him all this benefit of the doubt that he's innocent, even though y'all clearly jump the gun and say Jeffrey Epstein's fine. And you got all these people that are nuance trolling, all these motherfuckers that are nuance trolling, like, well, there haven't been any convictions, have there? Like, no, they have a point. There have not been any convictions associated with Andrew Tate. What there have been however, are videos of him saying some very sketchy, sexist shit, saying basically on camera that one of the reasons why he moved to Romania is so that he could get away with rape. And the other reasons is so, like, he can live like a king because it's way easier for him to do the things that he wants to do, the kind of things that he was getting arrested in England for. So he moved over there because the laws were so much more laxed and because Romania is inherently a corrupt country. That's the reason why he did it. Well, he ended up getting arrested anyways, twice. And this dude's basically a pimp, pimping out women on cam whores, cam girls. I mean, excuse me, I shouldn't be using that word. And there were women that were at his house that were being held without their consent. There's video footage of women basically trying to leave. They're being held there against their will, Romanian women, and Andrew Tate is threatening them with guns and knives and bullets, and basically threatening them with violence. And I mean, in the face of this, in the face of the fact that this dude obviously has fucking underground criminal connections, in the face of the fact that this dude's a literal fucking pimp for a bunch of cam girls, and that's like part of what makes him his money. You don't think some of the women there could be there without their consent? You don't think that some of those women are there being held there against their will, and you're going to sit here and fucking say that, he's innocent? This is like the same equivalent bullshit of like O.J. Simpson. Like, oh, well, yeah, O.J. Simpson was too. He also was found innocent by the court. He too, was let off. But guess what? O.J. Simpson had a team of lawyers underneath him. O.J. Simpson was rich as fuck. So, like, we have this ultra corrupt court system, this ultra corrupt legal system. Hell, Andrew Tate moved to Romania specifically because their court system was corrupt. And suddenly you're going to lend that exact same court system credence and legitimacy and say their word is law and what they say is final. So, but it's okay when Epstein does it. Epstein definitely didn't kill himself, and there's shady shit that people are getting away with, and that there are people on this planet that are above prosecution. So you recognize like all these weird ass conspiracy theories in the government. You can clearly see that like there's fucking pedophile sex trafficking going on. But when it comes to your own boy, Andrew Tate, it's hard for you to believe that this very same court system that would apparently let all these billionaires get away with pedophilia, they wouldn't let another rich person, another rich asshole grifter get away with fucking trafficking women. Y'all are a bunch of fucking retards. Like, seriously. So that's my point. And I think it's unbelievably ridiculous how fucking massive partisans people are. Like, people don't have any sort of like ideological or philosophical consistency whatsoever. No, it's just like, I'm a sexist asshole. Andrew Tate, like Donald Trump, validates my sexism, racism, xenophobia, etc. I am a fervent believer in the system. I just want to reform it and get rid of the progressive parts of it that I don't like. I don't understand capitalism, so I'm going to blame the conspiratorial elements within the system for all the problems caused by the system. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. But yeah. That's pretty much my spiel. And that being said, who's commenting? Who's commenting? Let's do it. 17? We got 17 people here now. How about that? Andrew Tate is a fake stoic if he's allowing Greta to get under his skin. Andrew Tate is a little fucking bitch. Like, all this talk, all this posturing about being a masculine alpha, all this posturing about being a masculine man. Let me tell you something, guys. Anybody who has to fucking constantly, like, I'm going to put this the same way my favorite Game of Thrones character put it. Any man who must say I am the king is no true king. Like anybody who has to constantly posture like they're this fucking alpha male, like left and right constantly, probably isn't an alpha male. They're probably just trying to overcompensate for something. And thing is like I don't think there's anything weaker than blaming innocent people and punching down. I don't think there's anything weaker or more pathetic than holding like half the human population in contempt, more than half the human population in contempt, and fucking blaming them for all of our problems, all of society's problems. And this is like the most sinister, fucked up part about Andrew Tate is he's talking about the reasons why he moved to Romania and why he did, because he's talking about how America is a failed society, and in a way, he's right. America is a failed society, and he makes some valid points. Like the fucked up part is he makes valid points. Like there, like within his analysis, there are valid points, but there's also insanely fucked up shit. Like good points mixed in with outright fascism. Good points mixed with outright fascism. On one hand, he talks about police violence. On the other hand, he talks about, oh, there are single moms letting trans kids transition early in life, and that's bad. That's, you know, spewing his fucking transphobic rhetoric, you know? Like he like oh, trainees bad, at the same time cops bad. Like, and that's the fucked up part about these fascist types is that that's the fucked up thing about these fascist types, right? Like they have valid points mixed in there. Like they have valid and correct analysis. Like they'll make good points, but they'll mix in all the other spooky bullshit with it at the same time. And then they'll basically punch down and blame minorities and blame other groups for the problems caused by the system. And it's super fucked up. That's like one of the components of fascism. Another component of fascism is basically and this isn't something Andrew Tate does, but it's the fake socialism. It's the fake populism, acting like, yeah, we're against the grain. We're the status quo. We're going to get rid of the elites. But fundamentally, do these people want to overthrow capitalism? No, they just want to remove the undesirable components of it, the conspiratorial elements, if you will, so that they can go back to supposedly a more pure time of it. Anywho, I have a question that I'd like to know. What would happen if the USSR won the Cold War? Oh, that's a completely different tangent. I'll get to that in a second, but let me round off on Andrew Tate first. So moral of the story, I'm in all likelihood going to talk about this again. Probably in a more organized stream format this Saturday. But rounding off on Andrew Tate, it's just crazy to me how so many people who will definitely say Hillary Clinton's in on a conspiracy. They'll definitely say, you know, Bilderberg Group, the elites, the system, big government bad, corrupt, illegitimate, status quo. They'll recognize all these valid points. But when it's Andrew Tate, who turns out he's a corrupt asshole, and turns out he was a lying, grifting piece of shit, all these people are going to be like, well, he wasn't convicted. But motherfucker, you just got done saying the whole court system's illegitimate. The whole system's illegitimate. These people are illegitimate. It turns out that he's one of these people, like all of a sudden, like, oh, it's okay. It just goes to show, like, these people are content on dying on their hill. It's the same shit with the Liver King, right? Like the Liver King is been exposed as a grifter and fraud, and like he's had his phony apology, and people are still following him at the same time. Or what that thing I posted about Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan, turns out Gordon Ryan is basically the Andrew Tate of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I, as a practitioner of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, respect the grappling of Gordon Ryan. I respect his grappling. I can recognize and respect good grappling when I see it. Gordon Ryan is the best submission grappler on the planet, and I cannot take that away from him. I will never take that away from him. Gordon Ryan truly is a revolutionary in that specific field. But he's an example of somebody who basically puts all of their experience points into a single stat while neglecting everything else. He puts all of his experience points when he levels up. He puts it into strength, stamina, agility, and he puts it into his jujitsu skill. But then he neglects all the other basic shit like logic, reason, history, basic human compassion and empathy. And he's just all like, oh, bootstrapped. I bootstrapped my way here. Fucking middle class white guy from the suburbs who had a good paying summer job, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, thinks he bootstrapped his way there when he was given favorable conditions that landed him where he was in the first place. So I don't want none of that smoke. I ain't not want none of that smoke. Fuck that noise, motherfucker. Anyways, where were we? So yeah, that's my Andrew Tate rant. Get ready to hear it again, those of you who are tuned in now. And thank you for tuning in now. Thank you, all 20 of you. Good seeing you all here, comrades. For those of you who have been following me for years, for those of you who have been following me for years, thank you. I thank you very much. Like I said, I've got nothing but scripted content from here on out, but I do want to do live streams from time to time. And not live streams like this, but more specifically in an organized format when I haven't had wine to drink and I'm not sick. But anywho, so somebody had a question. Oh, right here. They won the Cold War. That is a tough question. If the USSR won the Cold War, we'll start with that one. Oh man, if the Soviet Union won the Cold War, we would effectively be living in world communism for the most part. America would probably still be capitalist. Western Europe would still be capitalist at this point, but it wouldn't be neoliberalism. It would be a kind of state capitalism where the labor unions, the trade unions, and working people have a much greater seat at the table. Because if you think about it, had China not sided with the US, they would have had to look elsewhere for the surplus labor needed in order to buy capitalism new lifeblood. So you could have seen neoliberalism in Africa. You could have seen something like that going on there. Now, I don't know if that would have been necessarily possible, but there would have had to have been a lot of things going right in order for the Soviets to win the Cold War. But assuming they did, Western Europe and America would probably still be capitalist, but the rest of the world would probably be on its way to being communist by now. And the reason why I say that is because, like, really just because this is like the stronghold of capitalism. And unless there's a revolution here specifically, I don't see the transition to socialism happening, especially when people have been taught their whole lives to fear and hate an ideology they don't understand. So I think at best case scenario, we live under a well-regulated state capitalism, and that we're on the way. But that's pretty much it. I would say that would end up being the situation, and it would be a favorable situation because while I don't think America would be socialist now, I think it would be in a good situation for there to be a political revolution, for it to be socialist over the next few decades. So that's what I think would happen. You would see something akin to a peaceful transition or a peaceful revolutionary path here in the first world once it got to the point to where the writing was truly on the wall and the tide had completely shifted in that direction. What would it take for that to happen? Well, for one, the Sino-Soviet split has to not happen. That's the first fundamental step. And would you make a video about it? I don't know, man. I'm not really a clairvoyant. I don't know if I can deal in hypotheticals like this. All I can do is talk about what could be with the conditions, time, and resources that we have now. I can't really speak on conditions, time, and situations back then, mainly because my knowledge is incomplete. I know a lot about this subject, but I don't know as much as I'd like. And there's too many variables. I don't know. So for the time being, I'll talk about what can be, and I'll talk about what was. But I mean, yeah, I hope that answer is satisfactory. Let's move on. Alt history stuff is kind of a distraction. I would agree. Alternate history stuff, I don't really like putting a stock in that sort of thought. It's interesting to think about, but for all intents and purposes, I do feel it's kind of a waste of time. But anyways, considering how quickly the USSR developed, I think it would be a further stage along. Let's see what else we got. Would China apologize though? Why the fuck would China? Honestly, dude, China did what was best for its own national geopolitical interests, not necessarily what was best for socialism. Because I've got a video that kind of delves into it that I've got in the works. Long story short, from the get-go, the Chinese Revolution was really a national liberation struggle first, a bourgeois democratic revolution first, and a socialist revolution second. And the fact that fucking Mao came up with three worlds theory as the ideological justification to say that America and the Soviets are the same thing, except the Soviets are somehow worse. So we're going to side with America against them. Like straight up, it's in the memoirs, and I've got primary documentation from the Chinese government themselves talking about this that I'm going to showcase in a new video. A new video that's really a year past due. But don't worry, guys, I'm finally going to release it. I promise. Anyways, I'm not going to get into the fucking China talk. I'd rather talk about something else. If you got any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to run my mouth. But yeah, so over the course of the last months, I have gotten, and I know you guys aren't interested in this, but I've gotten heavily entrenched in the world of MMA. And I think what I'm going to do, so I spare you guys the ears of it, is I'm going to take that second channel that I originally developed to handle the clutter of the live streams. And I'm probably going to repurpose it into potentially an MMA channel where I talk about combat sports related stuff over there, because it is a topic I'm very interested in nowadays. Admittedly, it has soaked quite a bit of my time I could be using to produce videos on the main channel, but I don't know. I just found a passion, something that I really dig, that I'm really about, that I'd like to talk about. But do not worry. But the main channel, this channel is not going to turn into an MMA channel. You have my words. This is not going to turn into an MMA channel. No, I'm going to save that for Trav 2. I'm very, in all likelihood, going to repurpose that into an MMA channel in the foreseeable future. Nope, communist-related content is here to stay. You have my word. You guys are here for a few different reasons, mainly communist content, and because I used to roast Vosh. Let's admit it. A lot of you guys are here because I used to roast and shit on Vosh, and I even debated him. And I'm going to continue to do that on this channel, and I'm going to continue to do it just because it's entertaining, but it's also important, but also because it's an important discussion that needs to be had in general. But at the end of the day, I recognize this is what it is. It is entertainment. Entertainment. Don't think that, I'm the leader of the vanguard. I'm some revolutionary, because I'm not. I'm just a guy with a small YouTube platform that has a small voice with very, very limited resources that just with an opinion. All right. That's ultimately what I am at the end of the day. And ultimately what this really is entertainment, because what's going to change the world and make the world a better place is guys like you. People just going out and actually organizing and actually doing class struggle, because fucking people don't change their minds because their favorite streamer or debate bro says they do. It's not because, your favorite debate bro fucking lay epically dunked on a liberal or whatnot in a debate. The reason why people change their mind and get radicalized is because of their individual conditions. It's because of the actual class struggle. Through a process of struggle, they struggle against the system. They might start out as reformists, and then when they see the system fails to reform, they get disillusioned with it, and then they become more radical. You're seeing that with like the emerging union movement here in the United States. You're seeing rates of radicalization go through the roof. And it's being driven not because me, the fellow traveler, random schmuck, is dunking on Nazis on the internet. No, it's happening because they are struggling against the system. They're making reasonable demands, and they're seeing how antagonistic capitalism is towards them. So it awakens latent class consciousness within them, and it takes them down a more radical path. So, as boring as it is, as painful and as disheartening as it is, that's the work that matters the most. That is what's going to bring about socialism, not your favorite streamer personality or random schmuck right here, random schmuck, fucking validating your opinions on social media. I'm here for the shits and giggles, mostly for you guys, and because education. I do care about educating people, and I do think I have changed some minds and swayed some opinions, and that's the main reason why I keep this channel up, is because I do think there's value in it. Even if I only send 10,000 people in the direction of communism over the course of my life, that's good enough for me. That's 10,000 people that are going to do infinitely more for the world than the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that follow Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder. What do we got here? LGBT people need to organize, arm themselves, and radicalize. Well, of course they do. That's something literally all of us need to do. I got me a Glock, and I hope you guys start arming up. Oh yeah, me and Red Scare were planning on linking up for an interview sometime. Don't mind me. I'm just tying my hoodie around my waist right now because I'm starting to sweat from all this damn walking. It's pretty warm for a winter night. Really, it should be about, I don't know, 0 degrees right now, and yet it's like 60 degrees and I'm sweating my ass off. That is the power of global warming, my friend. But anywho, yeah, no. Getting organized is the paramount thing that matters more than anything else. And this is what I'm going to tell you every live stream. I'm going to remind you guys, no matter how big I get, I don't care if, suddenly the algorithm loves me tomorrow. I get all these new viewers in. If that even does happen, I'm going to tell all those new viewers the exact same thing. You basically have to be the change that you want to see in the world. That's all. All I can do is point people in the right direction. But the last thing I'm going to do is do you guys a disservice and tell you that I'm the leader of the movement. I'm like the next Lenin. I'm the guy you got to listen to and you got to follow my cult of personality. No. Remember, guys, I'm just a guy with an opinion dedicated to a passion project. And remember that. I'm trying to stay on the humble, goddammit. But anywho, I don't need guns for revolution. How do we avoid infiltration? What do you recommend? Okay, so when it comes to infiltration, when it comes to wreckers, there's no way of knowing who the infiltrators and wreckers are until you find out you've got an infiltrator or a wrecker. All you can do is watch out for the behavior of these people and certain tells. Specifically with infiltrators, one thing that cops like to do is egg on illegal activity. So if you see a guy like my size, like 6 feet or taller, who's like 200, 250 pounds, 200 and some odd pounds, who's like super big and stocky, who's all clean cut, and he's got like a pair of black shades on, and he's like, hey, buddy, want to blow up a government building? And you've never seen this man in your life, he's probably a Fed. So if you're going to do illegal activity, you got to ask yourself a couple questions. One, how does this serve the cause? How does this benefit socialism? How is this anything except adventurism? You got to ask yourself that first. Does this benefit the cause? Is this something that would be genuinely beneficial and not just adventurous? So that's the first question you got to ask yourself. And the second is, can I trust the people around me? Are these people that I can trust? And if it's people you've known for years, like these are hardened veteran comrades you've known for years, then I would say the answer is yes. You can definitely trust them. if you've known someone for 5 to 10 years. So that's the moral of the story. If you're going to do anything illegal, not saying you should, of course, but if you are, do it with some people that you've known for years who are trusted comrades who you know for a fact are not compromised, who aren't, informants. And the other thing is make sure it's not silly, stupid, reckless, adventurous shit. Cops are going to try to do that. Those are just like the typical tactics. Another tactic, I would recommend you look into COINTELPRO for like some other pointers. Another thing is like wrecking, trying to like divide the group on arbitrary grounds, or just trying to get people infighting and arguing. That's another tactic. Remember that the ruling class is trying to break people up on arbitrary grounds. They're trying to basically get people divided and fighting amongst themselves. But the thing is like, that's not really an organizing thing. That's not something, if you're at a very local level and you're still very small, that's not something you're not really going to have to worry about, at least at the very micro level, because the left is still very fucking irrelevant. You aren't going to have to worry about infiltrators until you're like organizing actual unions and like strikes, like at the state or like tri-state level. Like once you've got some real influence, like once you've caught the law, the eye of the law, and you actually are really disrupting business as usual on a direct level, that's when you'll actually have something to worry about, and you'll need to look out for it. But of course, looking out for wreckers like obvious tells, or union busters, infiltrators. Best thing to do is to not worry too much about it, and to make these people do as much work for you as humanly possible. Basically, have them work for you like they would. And if they go against the work, if they're not helping to agitate, educate, and organize, and they're just there to wreck, there you go. Now you know who your wreckers are, whether they're just wreckers or infiltrators. You're basically making them work for you. Lenin even talked about this, how, by the time it turns out czarist agents were revealed within the highest ranks of the party, um, uh, they had helped make tens of thousands of comrades. They had already helped done all that organizing and done all that help. So you make them work for you and you make them do good for you. And because there's no way of truly knowing until like they expose their asses. And one good way to get them to expose their asses is really just to go through their social media, because it's much easier to like nowadays with like information technology and shit, you could get them to expose their asses just by going through their DMs and so on. Like there are new ways to do it, You don't have to limit yourself to 150-year-old theory. You can add new theory. You can contribute new praxis. Like you can find new and innovative and creative ways to resolve these problems, but you will not find the solutions to these problems unless you yourself are out there participating in it. That makes sense? All right, what else we got? Well, when they infiltrate our mosque, they're usually radicals who tend to be vague and want urgent action. And remember, not every goofball who's advocating reckless shit is a Fed. You can have plenty of instances. I understand why there's such a huge fear of the Fed and why there's such massive, massive paranoia. There are completely reasonable, valid justifications for it, considering the level of fuckery that radical organizers have had to deal with over the decades. But what I'm trying to say is not everybody who's wrecking is necessarily a Fed. So what I'm trying to say is don't be too paranoid. Don't worry too much about it, because all it's going to do is like disrupt your flow. Just focus on organizing. Recognize that what it's going to happen. Just try to learn to identify the basic tells, like the obvious signs that someone might be a wrecker, and deal with it as it comes. But otherwise, unless you guys find the magic ability to conjure up ESP, become clairvoyants, cast some divination spells and read the thoughts of others, unless you guys are devoted to the divination school of magic and you learn how to see the future or be clairvoyant or read other people's minds, you're not going to know who the wreckers are until they start actually doing the wrecking. You know what I'm saying? Castro only had like 70 to 80 men when he went to Cuba. Oh, yeah, because Cuba, I mean, it was already a weak government. People need to realize, like, America is like one of the most entrenched liberal democracies on earth. I get that it's quality that counts, but you are going to need another level of organizing if you want to overthrow the US government or do revolution in like the US. That's going to require an international effort because, like, America is basically an entity at the international stage. That's going to require international effort. That's going to require organizing not just in America, but in multiple countries. You're basically in not just in the US, but in a lot of countries. I mean, I get like if you had a revolution in the US, but you're not going to want to just have a revolution in the US. You're going to want to have a revolution in a wave of areas at once. And that's why I really want to stress this is an international working people's movement. Genderos stream topic? There is no topic. I'm just running my mouth. Hey, Trav, I'm heading. Oh, yeah, no, good seeing you, Red Scare. I'll look forward to the interview. I look forward to the interview. Go get yourself some rest, comrade. Mm, but yeah, most of the times the infiltration they call themselves moderate, but They're really contributing to right wingers. So on that question, in terms of like right wingers, because you'll get a lot of people that are like centrists or consider themselves moderate leftists, so to speak, but they're really not moderates whatsoever. They're really conservatives, um, conservatives in the closet, and they'll act like they're friends of the movement when they're really not. Uh, yeah, it's the whole trope of the white moderate. This is obviously combat liberalism. This is a problem. This has always been a problem within like leftist organizing in spaces. And what we need to do is get to a point to where we can inoculate the movement from this shit. We need to get to a point to where we can inoculate it from it. Um, and that requires education. And the good news is we're living in the information age. It has never been easier to educate people about this stuff than ever before. And it's always going to be a lingering issue. Until we've already established like large socialist presence, it's always going to be an issue. Um, it's a crisis in consciousness. It's just something you're going to have to struggle and go against because you are literally going up against, when you're dealing with a moderate, when you're dealing with liberals, you are dealing with somebody who has had a lifetime of capitalist programming. This is someone who has went their entire lives believing in this and being indoctrinated with this value system. So these are the people you're going to have to deal with for the foreseeable future, and it's going to suck. But trust me when I say it will get better and it will change. Like, because people's views are not really that static. When people start to see how fucked this system really is, they're going to flip. Like, and it really depends. It's a spectrum. You have some people that are basically like simps for the status quo. But the thing is like once they see the writing on the walls, once they see that like that the tides are changing, they are more than likely going to hop in. So yeah. But anyways, what do you think the future of Caleb Maupin and his group will? I think Maupin has ceased to be relevant since he got exposed as a creep. Since he has gotten exposed as a creep, Caleb Maupin has ceased to be relevant as an individual within my eyes. I mean, obviously, he's got the people who look up to him, the people who still believe in him, but Maupin is not going to be like a credible threat that's really worth consideration for the foreseeable future. I'm pretty sure most people recognize him as an open Nazi now. I mean, he's a dangerous dude, and he will muddy the water and pollute and dilute the message. But I would really just worry. I think we've got better things to worry about than a Caleb Maupin at this point. I'm not going to talk about him anymore, just because after the whole spanking debacle, I really don't see him recovering from that. I don't see him bouncing back from that at all. No. I mean, even Infrared has distanced himself from Maupin's brand. When you're so fucked up that Infrared and Jackson Hinkle have distanced themselves from your brand, you know you've done goofed. Wallerstein said global capitalism won't last beyond 2050, but if the system could be shaped by the rich if we don't get our way. Well, socialism isn't necessarily inevitable. All we're going to deal with are a series of breakdowns that are just going to radicalize people because of how unbearable it's going to make life. We are going to have a series of opportunities to radicalize and organize and shift people in the right direction. And the logic for a new system is just going to become more obvious over time. Really, it's our job to point people in that way and to basically build up that alternative. So, but that's going to require us to pull our resources. And that's going to require us to do important, necessary work, no matter how boring or no matter how disheartening it might be. Give me a second, guys. You never run into any skinwalkers during your night walks? Oh, skinwalkers. Oh, I've dealt with them. Trust me, I've dealt with skinwalkers before. Not a fun time. Not a fun time. I have dealt with some people who, well, I wouldn't exactly call them skinwalkers, but they're people that want my money. I've had brass knuckle pulled on me under a bridge when I was a teenager. I've been in a couple schoolyard fights as well. I've had to deal with at least a couple scraps when I've been at the bar before. But otherwise, were they skinwalkers? No. But were they assholes? Yeah. I've had to deal with that shit before. And all I have to say about that situation is, don't fucking get in a don't get in a brawl. Like don't get in a street fight. Don't fuck with people. Like if you have the opportunity to back out and walk away, do that. Don't stay and fucking start swinging just for ego reasons or all the other jazz. The only reason you should be doing that is if that person isn't giving you an option but to start swinging. And fortunately, I have pretty much all the situations I've been in, that's pretty much been the way that I could have gone, was just walk away, run away, just remove myself from that situation. But unfortunately, when I was much younger and stupider, I decided to stay and swing instead. And that was dumb. I was a fucking moron for doing that. But yeah, you live and you learn. It still requires us to do something, otherwise we will be baiting for collapse of civilization. When capitalism fuck up too hard, we are getting close. Yeah, so capitalism is a few decades out from truly collapsing, I think. We have plenty of time. Like, we have more time than you might think. I mean, time is of the essence, don't get me wrong. But the way that the Bolsheviks took power was because the old system failed. They took power because the infrastructure for czardom and czarist rule was just not there anymore. Like the legitimacy of the system was gone. People were tired of it. Monarchy was out the road. Monarchy was out the door, and the Bolsheviks had the political infrastructure in place to supplant and replace it. That's basically what we're trying to do. We can't really get capitalism to fail. Capitalism, I mean, we can, but it's going to fail on its own. Its ultimate failure, I think, is going to come with the climate apocalypse more than anything. And that doesn't necessarily, I mean, it does have its due date, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll get socialism. Socialism is something that needs to be built. But we are very at a stage where it's kind of socialism or extinction. I absolutely think that's the case. I hope Caleb helps by accident while he's wrecking. Maybe he will. Maybe we will. Maybe he will. I fear if capitalism collapses, UA become FASH, or US, you mean? Probably. Would I talk to a narc like you talk to ThoughtBat? Also, did you ever read Peter Krupp? I mean, I've read Kropotkin forever ago. Like I went through the bread book, the book of bread, or yeah, the conquest of bread. But it has been an unbelievably long time since I've read it. I've also read some of Mutual Aid. I actually have both his books. Like I bought those years ago. They're collecting dust on my bookshelf, and I've went through him. I haven't read Bakunin. I think Bakunin is largely a meme. I would gladly talk to an arc again. I've thought about making like responses to his videos, but they're so fucking long and would require so much effort and energy, which I only have a very finite amount of, that I didn't really think it was that worth it. But I have talked to an arc before. He's just basically a generic left anti-communist. That I could be wrong. Maybe he's changed his song and tune, but I have granted way too much respectability to a lot of anarchists in the past just because they're just basically anti-communists. I don't really have the patience for that shit anymore, man. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, I don't really. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't really have the patience to go out of my way to talk to people I know I don't like or who I know are just going to be shitheads. I've realized since like the Pogan debate, like how for my own mental health, it's just better if I don't debate these people, just because like it's not even about like the actual conversation. Like they're not even interested in like having an honest dialogue with you. All they really care about is basically trying to make you look bad and entertain their audience. And I'm not really about those vibes anymore. I'll do it if it means growing the channel and exposing people to Marxism. But otherwise, I have very little incentive to do fucking live debates for the foreseeable future. I apologize. Moving on. My thoughts of WWE. The WWE. Yeah, I think the UFC is turning into the WWE. I think that online debate bro shit is WWE shit. None of this shit is actually based on anything real or material. They're all plot lines with their own fandoms, and it's all entertainment at the end of the day. Like streamers will literally mold their political beliefs to whatever is convenient in the moment. Um, I think the best example of that is like when Vosh shat all over Professor Flowers and then turned around like and platformed an ethno nationalist out of spite, like shitting on Professor Flowers, calling her an ethno nationalist, talking about how she's evil for being an ethno nationalist and just like Hitler, and then turns around and platforms an ethno nationalist in a positive light out of spite, just so she can get back at Bad Empanada. Fucking pathetic, dude. No, like that's literally what these people are. They'll change their opinions, they'll retailer their thoughts, all to fucking defend one another and uphold one another in their clout network. Like you can't if you're sucking on Vosh for that clout, you can't go against Vosh. If you're in Destiny's clout network, you can't go against that. It's like so really none of it is really sincere politics. None of these people really take politics seriously. To them, it's just a grift more than anything else. It's the main reason why I didn't fucking go along with Infrared. President Sunday gave me the 500 genius level IQ advice to kiss up to Infrared and try and cozy up to him and get on good terms with him so I could leech subs off of him and leech clout off of him. And I ultimately didn't go along with it because I realized I'd be fucking selling out and I'd basically be kissing up to a liberal pseudo fascist. And I'm glad I didn't do it. And I'm glad I went against that advice. And yeah, I kind of burned a bridge with President Sunday in the process, but guess what? I don't care. I don't care about any of this shit. All I care about is making actual content and sticking to my guns and principles. And if that means growing a channel more slowly, that's fine by me. I care more about maintaining the message rather than fucking diluting it. You know? Okay, so when it comes to like Hassan or like not that's not to say I won't associate with any streamers whatsoever. If it is within my interest, like I have a potential to expand my audience considerably, like I would do it. If it meant talking, but it would mean talking to a streamer full of people like a streamer with millions of followers who was actually sympathetic to the cause. People that were already sympathetic to Marxism, that were already on the way out the door to become Marxist, but they haven't put two and two together yet. All they needed is someone like me to come along and explain it to them. Yeah, I would absolutely do that. I would hop on a Hassan Piker stream. I would hop on, the D program. I don't know how to get on these streams, but I would absolutely do it. And not only them, but there are plenty of like non-political channels, just like secular channels that are left leaning There's a lot of people that just don't put two and two together, and all they need is that person to put two and two together for them to realize and make the connection. I would absolutely do that. I, but yeah, which is why like I would totally do it. Like I stand to gain a lot more to go on like a Hassan Abi or a Hassan Piker. I would much rather do that than talk to Destiny or God forbid talk to Voshkin. Fuck that noise. But anywho, of IWW, the IWW were like the CPUSA. They were relevant at a time, but not so much anymore. They're past their glory. They're past their prime. That's not to say there isn't value in working with them. They're just very small now. As far as I know, at least they're not shilling for the Democrats. So I guess that is a single plus. VVSTN, you're late to the punch. What else do we got here? I can see in a few decades, a few years, but I also see complicity to relax and wait and not react. Yeah, so nah, capitalism's got decades of life left in it. In this beautiful, beautiful universe we call home, entropy is always increasing. Entropy is getting added anywhere. Entropy is getting added to everything. Eventually, too much entropy is going to get added to capitalism and it's going to collapse. But do not worry. You have an entire lifespan minimum worth of capitalism left. Trust me. Everybody in this chat and myself, we are all going to be on our deathbeds by the time things really start to unfold, if they don't unfold sooner. Like, I take solace in knowing that I'm probably going to die either before or during the period or era where things really start to fall apart. Because it really isn't going to be until like the 2050s, 2060s when things really start to fucking unfold and things really start to get fucking fucked up. Just saying. You take solace. We've got a few decades of fun left. But that's not an excuse not to do anything. Work, motherfuckers. God damn it. Hard to say sometimes, but generally I don't see Hassan or Mike talking outside of MSN narrative. Hassan has good takes. That's the thing. You'll find good takes among like liberal commentators and left-leaning commentators. Thing is that you got to keep in mind that these guys are entertainers at the end of the day. They're entertainers. They're here to entertain. They are doing what they're doing for pretty similar reasons that I am. The difference is that I've read some Marxism and they have not. So I'd say that's the main difference. Main difference. While that's true, I can send him an Eastern link, and when I critique it, they do come back. All right, so we will be old during the 1917. Honestly, man, I have no doubt that I'm probably going to be in my 60s or 70s by the time something like that really happens. Maybe it might happen sooner. Who knows? There are weeks when decades happen. There are decades when weeks happen. You know the phrase. I would love to see you and S4A do a collab. You guys are both intelligent. I think it would be. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Doug. Believe me, dude, I've been trying to get S4A to turn out for a live stream and a collab for the longest time. For whatever reason, he doesn't really want to do it anymore. You would have to take it up with him. I would more than love to have S4A back on my channel, but I don't really think he wants to. The issue is like, not that I think he's cynical, but he doesn't have clout to gain by talking to me anymore. He had clout to gain by talking to me back when he only had like 1,000 subscribers. But now he's the one with like 11K subs. So he wouldn't really stand to gain anything materially from it, which is my main like concern. I'm not going to say for certain that's the case, but I would like him to come around. I'm more than happy to have him back. I'm more than happy to have him back. I'm more than happy to talk to Finbull again, to Jason again. I'll talk to anybody. I don't care. For me, I just like talking to other people, like actual other Marxists that are like legit, real recognize real. I'd be more than happy to have him back. It's just he's insanely busy now. His channel's grown so much, and he doesn't really stand anything to gain from talking to me again. Um, Regardless, I don't hold that against him, but I would like to see him back too. I agree. That would be very awesome if he did come around sometime. While that is true, I can send him a link, and when I critique it, they do come back to a Marxist view. Yeah, no, socialism for all is awesome. I hope to talk to him again. I had like I still talk to him sometimes. Like sometimes I'll have back and forth with him in my DMs on Discord and Twitter. I'm probably gonna DM him again sometime soon. I'm still on speaking terms with him. That is a relationship I want to maintain because like he is legit. He's a good dude. He's a good comrade. He's a good dude. He's principled. He's very well read and educated. I like the content that he does. And I look forward to seeing what he produces next. And I look forward to seeing him blossom and grow more and more. You know, Uh, like that's all that matters to me. I don't even care. Like if he gets to a point to where he's got hundreds of thousands of subs, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. It doesn't matter if it's me carrying the torch or him. All right. What matters is that somebody is carrying the torch, and it does my heart well knowing that his channel has had the success that it has had. That's all. So I respect him. Um, I'm more than happy to talk to him anytime, and it does my heart well knowing that he's reached over 11,000 subs. But anywho, how is his voice not irreparably damaged, man? Is an audiobook and streaming dynamo. I mean, I don't really think your voice can get fucked up by talking too much. I mean, that's what we do, right? We're humans. That's like saying, how do you not fuck your feet up by walking all day long? Well, you're just walking. Like, if there's two things human beings we evolved to do specifically, it's walking and talking. Those are things we can do all day long, no problems whatsoever. But anywho, I am gonna wrap this stream up here in the next few minutes. So what do we got? What do we got? He just keeps going. Yeah, no. I respect S4A. I respect Jason Unruh, man. I hope Jason gets the help that he needs because he's a little under the weather. He's not in the best of moods lately. I just hope he gets the help he needs. Like, I think the problem is like the alienation. The problem is not having a lot of real friends. And I feel like we could all use friends. Like, one thing I think pretty much everybody could use, like, and I think this is something future socialism should provide, is like state-sponsored therapists, state-sponsored social workers. Just, after capitalism's finally been dethroned, state-sponsored social workers and therapists, just people to help people heal, because this system mentally fucks people up. Like, the market is literally bad for your health. Mentally, it is horrible for you. Like, don't fucking kid yourself. That's what I'm saying, man. I would love for us to have a state-sponsored therapists, state-sponsored social workers, or maybe not even that, but just like have communities together. You might not even need that if you just had like friends and healthy relationships. But we need something specifically to help people recover from the alienation. I think there should be like a government program, a national health care program or protocol to help the general populace recover from the trauma that is the capitalist system. Just saying. Fallout 4 is bad for everyone's mental health. Jason is just playing too much Fallout. I agree. He's playing the wrong Fallout games. That's probably what's fucking him up. If Jason got off the Fallout 4 and he started playing the good Fallout games like New Vegas and Fallout 1 and 2, he'd probably be doing much better. Nowadays, I myself have been playing High on Life. High on Life. It's a wonderful first person shooter where you have a talking gun. There's a talking gun that's voiced by the guy who does voice acting for Rick and Morty, and it is the funnest shit in the world. I fucking love it. That game makes me laugh like constantly. It's called High on Life. You guys should check it out. It's what I've been playing lately. It's wonderful. It really is. It's a good game. Been playing at my girlfriend's place. But yeah, no, Fallout 76, another lame fucking video game. He needs to play New Vegas and he needs to mod the shit out of it. Fallout New Vegas is scientifically and objectively the greatest incomplete game of all time. Either New Vegas or Vampire the Masquerade. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is another game that is incomplete. It is underpolished. It is in dire need of lots of patches, but it is one of those games that is god tier RPG. Fallout New Vegas, Vampire the Masquerade, Knights of the Old Republic 2, these are all god tier RPGs, comrades. Jason Unruh's mood would drastically lift and improve if he played some real RPGs that were a lot of fun instead of fake RPGs designed by Bethesda. High on Life. Yes, this is a fun game. I've been playing the shit out of it at my girlfriend's place. We've been loving the hell out of it. It's not a role-playing game, it's a shooter, but it's just awesome. Like, everything about that game is just awesome. I love it. Next gaming stream. Well, shit. I wouldn't mind doing one sometime soon. Bust out the murder simulator, play some murder simulators. I have a couple games that I'd like to stream. Subnautica is one I wouldn't mind streaming. High on Life, because I'm having fun with that. Vampire the Masquerade. The reason why I haven't really been doing gaming streams is because they get like 1 or 2 viewers. I'm very demoralized when there's like 1 viewer or 2 viewers, like 3 people. It's like when I did those theory streams when I read, right? There was only 1 or 2 people tuning in. Nobody fucking tuned in. And that's the reason why I lost interest in doing it. Like, if no one's here to chill or hang out, if no one's here to watch it, like, I have way less incentive to do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless it's like ASMR. But I don't really think my voice is ASMR worthy. So, plus it derails from the main purpose of the channel anyways. I don't know. I might do it in the future sometime, but there's not really popular demand for it, so, you know. Stream Fallout New Vegas. Oh, man. I could totally do that. I could play Fallout New Vegas for hours, man. Fallout New Vegas, I don't know why Jason Unruh wastes his time with Fallout 76 or Fallout 4. Those are, it's like the Virgin 76, the Virgin 4, the Chad New Vegas. Like, New Vegas is objectively just scientifically a better game in every way, shape, and form. New Vegas with mods is god tier. I've played the hell out of New Vegas back in the day. It's one of the greatest games. Like, I revisit, it's so good. Fallout New Vegas is such a good game that I literally revisit it like once every couple of years. Since 2010, I have revisited that game once every few years, played it, beat it, and then played it, beat it again. Like, over and over again. It is a game that is so good that I will literally come back and replay it once every couple of years. That's how fucking good it is. I will come back, replay it, mod the shit out of it, Nexus Manager, craft. It's so awesome. Outer Worlds 2 will be the next New Vegas, mark my words. Outer Worlds 1 is a fun game. I would say it's a good attempt. at being a spiritual successor to Fallout 2. I would say it was a valid, very valid attempt at a spiritual successor to Fallout, but it really isn't the same. I need to play it again. I played it and beat it like last year, but I think I'm going to play it and beat it again now that you mention it. Outer Worlds, it's fun, but there are things I don't like about it. Mainly just like the power scaling. The power scaling in that game is kind of weird. Like just the way you tinker up your gear and so on. My wife just got into the FNAF. I'm not familiar with FNAF, but I'm going to look it up after this. Can you do a video about the vaquita being on the brink of extinction? Capitalism is killing. Yeah, the vaquita. You have no idea how many animals are going extinct, man. That's just one. Can we please ban debate bros? Yeah, because they're talentless hacks. Debate bros contribute nothing to society. Under socialism, debate bros would have to get off the internet and go and get a real job like everybody else. You know, it's kind of funny. Like, Bad Empanada made this response, this great response to Vosh recently about Kurzgesagt, where he's defending billionaire propaganda, billionaire neoliberal propaganda. Imagine that. And Voss just low key admits halfway through the stream that he's funded by billionaires, like casually. Like it's very subtle. You have to pay attention. But Bad Empanada points it out too. He's like, oh, he just basically admitted he's funded by billionaires. He's a millionaire funded by billionaires. I mean, that's really it. That's game, set, match. You're no longer a leftist. You're paid by billionaires. Cash in your left card, baby. I mean, but then again, he cashed in his left card a long time ago. No new information. Where am I from? I am from planet Earth, where specifically I am an Ohio man. I would love to talk more about it, but unfortunately, I cannot invite new people into my server because someone has threatened a cyber attack to spam it down and ruin it. So, for the foreseeable future, until further notice, nobody is allowed in the Discord server. But yeah, no, unless they get vetted by me personally. The only way you can get in my Discord now is if literally you're vetted by me personally or one of the mods. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream. I got to be up at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and I am sacrificing precious sleep. You all have... Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, you all have a wonderful night. It was good talking to you all. Thank you for following and sharing my content, watching my videos. It means very much to me. It was good talking to you all. You all have a wonderful night, and I will catch you all later. Keep an eye open for a potential live stream very soon. I am going to be producing quite a bit of content. I have no interest in slowing down, only speeding up. I cannot stop. I will not stop. I don't even know how to stop. I'm going to be doing this for the foreseeable future. Thank you for tuning in, comrades. I will see you all soon. Peace out, and good night. And Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to all of you. Go out and party. Go out and party, guys. 2023 is going to be a good year. You're all winners. And I know you all are going to win. Good luck to you all. We're all going to make it.